We have a sudden heat wave. We went from it being too cold and I had to shut this greenhouse down seal it shut, to it's over 100 degrees in here right now and I've got 3 fans running. I have hundreds of plants I need to get up potted. Vinegars I need to look after. Starters I need to feed. Other starters I need to start. And this is just the way it is this time of year. These are blooms from last year's onions. Now I let some of them stay in and flower because I collect those seeds, I dry them, and then I grow onions. And I do this every year, and I don't remember the last time I had to pay for onion seeds. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, you're hot. I know your sweet friend is on the other side of the fence. I tried to let her in. She started chasing the ducks around, honey. What do you want me to do? I know. Do you understand it's 90 degrees out here? You want me to go mess with that goose? Now, you know if you keep crying about it, I'm going to go do it. So can you give me a break? Let's be friends. It's hot. You sit in the shade. I'll go inside and sit in air conditioning. That doesn't seem fair, does it? She's just on the other side of the fence. If I go open the gate, will you stop being mad? But if I go on the other side of the gate and I let her in, that rooster's going to come in. And you know he loves to pick at my strawberries. Can't we work this out? Can't we work this out? It's not my fault that goose has a big butt and can't get over the fence. I didn't put her over there. So I'm going to feed some seedlings. These are some peppers I have growing. It's my second batch. And when I feed them from underneath. Like I said, I feed from the bottom. So I just take a quart container with some tepid water and a cap full of this. And it feeds them beautifully. I never have issues with burning, over fertilizing, or anything like that. When you're fertilizing seedlings, less is more. So you're better off feeding them a mild solution more often than feeding them like a big heavy hit. That can cause more stress than needed. So just a little bit goes a long way, and I do it maybe once every 6 days or so until I get them transplanted, and they're happy as clams. That's funny, happy as clams, and it's Neptune's harvest. Ha! So give it a shake. And that's it. That little splash. I give it a stir, and I feed the plants. And so here we are at the station, and I just give it a lift and pour this underneath, because what we're doing is we're feeding the roots, and the roots feed the soil feeds the roots, and the roots take care of everything else. I don't water from above, I don't feed from above. That risks all sorts of issues, dampening off being one of them. And it's just not worth it, and it's not necessary. You see how these started to get a little yellow? It's because I missed a feeding. I wasn't feeling great, and you can actually tell because they became a little bit light green. They're not yellow, they're light green. This stuff that I just fed them, they'll be dark in a couple of days and ready to go. Here we are at the eggs. I believe we're at 16 days now. It's 21 until we're actually, they should be hatching. But I should start seeing a little bit of movement and some peeping sooner. In fact, you know what we might be able to do? We might be able to candle them. Let's see if I've got the right light in here, because it's still a little bright in here. Let's see if I can do it. Okay, see here? Let's see if I can, there, you see that? Down here, there's that air pocket. It's hard to tell. You know what? When it gets dark, I'll try this again. And we're out at the bees. It's pretty hot in there. But there they are. Now they're flying all around me. I am not wearing a suit or anything. I just come on out. They always come out to see, who's out here, what's going on. I guess they figure I'm nosy. But that's the top bar hive. But even though they're so curious as to what I'm doing out here, they don't bother me. They're not being mean to me at all. They're not being very loud. I mean, I'm wearing a fairly intense mic. It picks up everything. And the geese are yelling at me. Hi, babies. You'll notice I'm not wearing makeup. I apologize for that. I hope I'm not scaring the kids. I've been working out in the garden. I've been working out in the barnyard, and it's 90-something degrees out there today, and the makeup would melt right off. So I figured, why bother? I tell the truth about everything else. This is my stupid face. I apologize, but it's just too hot to worry about makeup, so I'm not going to. What we are going to do is we're going to make some starter for tepache, another one of the fermented beverages that we make every year at about this time. It is one of our favorites. However, I don't do it the same as most. Traditionally, this is made with the skin and the core of a pineapple, organic pineapple. I don't do that because I find it to be kind of bitter without the addition of lots of the fruit. So I actually use a whole pineapple other than, the top and the bottom. I use all of the flesh, the core, all of that. You need the skin because that's where the microbes are that we're going to be feeding. However, adding the fruit gives you such beautiful flavor that I know the idea originally was to make sure that you're not wasting the skin and the core. I get that. That's not wasted on me. I do understand. However, it's also something that we're going to drink and we might as well enjoy. Right now, we've got pineapples coming out of our ears at the supermarket. They're very inexpensive. The organic ones, they're delicious. And so I have two that I let get super, super ripe, and then I have two that are not as ripe. And I do that because I want that extra flavor from the natural sugars from the pineapple. So that's one part. The other is that even in my F1, meaning my first level of ferment, I add a bit of lime and fresh mint right at the end. But then I do a secondary fermentation and we bottle it. And in that is where we can add raspberries and strawberries, and you can make the most beautiful flavors. So I give you the recipe in the printable. I give you the recipe, the method, the same way I always do it. I give you all the details because I try to make it so that I leave nothing out. So if you want to go just the truly traditional way, you have the information. If you go my way, I think you'll like it as well, if not more. I am not taking a shot at the original. I just prefer it with that beautiful, bold flavor of the pineapple and the natural sweetness that comes from that. The lime is so beautiful with that. It kind of balances that the little bit of a tannic flavor that you get from the skins, and it's just really delicious. And the fresh mint, you just bruise it a little, and the flavor is just boom, and it's so beautiful. It's good for you. It's good for your stomach. You've got the natural probiotic effect. This stuff's delicious. But when you go and you do that secondary ferment, which we are going to do, you get something even more special, and the kids go nuts for it. So right now we're already out of, again, ginger ale, so I have to go feed that starter. I'm going to make another batch of that. I'm starting this, and then after this, we have yet another. And I keep all of these naturally fermented beverages going through the spring, the summer, and most of the fall. It's so good. But then by the time we hit fall, we're just kind of done with it, and we're in hot chocolate season. It is what it is. So let's get the camera moved so you can see this is a really fast process, and it's worth the time, it's worth the effort, and I hope you love it. Let's do it. So you've got some nice big jars, and we're going to start with, now the fruit from here, I don't throw that away at all. We've got very ripe fruit here because that's what I want. I want a bit of extra sweetness that's going to come from here. And then I have, you see, these are like even overripe. That's exactly what I want. And then this stuff gets sent outside and the birds go nuts for it. And by birds, I mean our birds. So we're just going to trim off anything that's not beautiful. And you just cube up your fruit. Now I'm making 2 jars because this stuff, it's hard to keep around. So if you've got, I mean, we've only got 4 people in our family, but once I start with this stuff, it's impossible to keep on hand. So if you've got a family like mine, make plenty. So you're going to take your fruit. Now, anything that's just looking a little past perfect, I trim off. But this is such a juicy pineapple that the juice is everywhere. And that's exactly what we want. I want that sugar. I want those natural flavors. And I don't mind having the extra trim because I've got a million animals out there waiting for more treats. They've gotten accustomed to our spring routine already. I was just outside checking the bees and they looked at me like I had some nerve showing up out there. The geese were out with the bees. The recipe is very simple. It's your pineapple with the skin, the fruit, and the core, in my version. Piloncillo, which is a raw sugar. And if you can't find it, which it's not the easiest thing in the world to find, you can replace it with brown sugar, which is what we do. Out where we live, that's never going to be something that we find. And I do this too often to worry about ordering. Give your pineapple a nice bath. And you're going to include what normally you would throw away as trim, so you don't have to be as careful when you're trimming this up because we don't have any waste. Now this is less ripe. Oh, it's still incredible. Get that skin in there. The skin is where we're going to get our good bacteria. That's where our natural yeasts are. Now here's another thing that's a little different. Just some thin slices of lime. It adds the most beautiful flavor. Now this is a very sweet, the fruit that we have in here is really sweet. So you can go from 3/4 of a cup of the sugar all the way up to a cup. In our case, we're going to go on the lower end and we're going to go with 3/4 of a cup because we have so much natural sugar going on in our fruit. This is a 1/4 cup measure. And you want to leave headspace because this is going to go nuts. Now, you're going to want to stir and you're going to pick up room again so that you can add more liquid. So what you're looking to get into jars like this is about 2 quarts of cool, non-chlorinated water. We have amazing water. Our well is attached to a our well is attached to a spring. We have incredible water. When we had our water tested, we almost threw a party. We've lived in places where the water was absolutely horrific. So this is a treat. So now, you don't have to do this. This is my addition. But you bruise up a little fresh mint and you drop it in, and that becomes part of your starter. Tuck it all the way in there. You don't need a lot, just a few leaves, a little gathering. And then we're going to do our usual, which is, because we're trying to have a starter that is live, we want to make sure that our little baby here can breathe. So as always, we do not seal the top. We put on something that it can breathe through, which is the paper towel thing, because it's the easiest thing in the world for me, so that's what I do. I always say this time I'm going to go all the way over there, which is, maybe 12 feet, and I'm going to get coffee filters, but I don't. And I'm not going to pretend I do, because I don't. So we're going to put our lid on. I just sit it like that. and I put it right off to the side. Don't put it far away. This becomes very active very quickly. In fact, when I'm done here, I'm going to put a tray under it because there's a very good chance this will be overflowing by morning. If you have been working on the wine vinegars with me, I wanted to show you where we are in the process now. Here is the red wine, and you see the mother sitting on top. And I told you last time that it always takes a bit longer for the white wine. Well, look who finally got her act together and has, let's get you closer. She got her act together and has a mother on top, just like she's supposed to. Look at that. So anybody who's doing this project with me, the wine project, if you would let me know, I would love to know if you've got a mother on top of yours, if you're ready to go on to the next step. Next week, we're going to go on to the next step whether you're ready or not, but I'm hoping that more of you say that you're ready than not. I'm excited to show you the next step. It is so much fun. We're going to have the best red and white wine vinegar you've ever had in your whole life. And this is the real way to do it. This is the way it was done way back when people figured out that their wine turned to vinegar spontaneously. I just wanted to show you this as a little update. I can't wait to show you the next step next week. Thank you so much for being with me today. I took you around the farm. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm exhausted. I'm overheated, but I'm always so happy when you're with me. Thank you so much. I'll see you Sunday.